Coming off the back of a drama-filled end to 2022, Des Hasler departs. Tom Trbojevic, he returns though. Shaved head after raising money for Bear Cottage during the week in the lead-up to his return. He's been in Philadelphia working with Bill Knowles, who now has a holiday house in the Bahamas off the work he does with Latrell Mitchell, Tom Trbojevic and also Ryan Pappenhausen. The US reconditioning specialist has made some money off NRL clubs, and I'm sure the Sea Eagles fans would agree it's hopefully well spent in the case of Tom Trbojevic. We are underway. Matt Burton gets things going. The first of three right here on Super Saturday. Trbojevic makes the catch and he gives it off to Josh Aloiai into the starting side with Sean Kepi coming off the bench for Anthony Seibold in his first coaching appearance with the Sea Eagles here today. Jake Trbojevic will play it here. Lachlan Croker also with the shaved head, working out of dummy half. It goes to that right-hand side where Paseka will work his way just short of the 40. Croker kicking from inside the 40, but right down the barrel there to Hayes Perham, who will bring it back and play it just short. So an early kick from Manly, taking a chance. Croker out of dummy half. The Bulldogs begin here in pretty decent field position. And perhaps the standout star of the Rugby League World Cup, Josh Addo-Carr, playing it just short of the halfway line.
You're not sure about that one, Warren. An early kick from Manly. I thought they really started to roll through the ruck. They had Farmanu Brown struggling to get back on side, and not the kick execution that Lachlan Croker was after. And now the Bulldogs on the third tackle, entrenched in the Sea Eagles half.
There is Marnie out of dummy half, coming back to link with Max King. Much doing there for King. They have one more play though from an attacking range. It goes back to Burton, who has the super boot, just a mid-range one this time around. To Bulldogs coming forward, knocks it on. It comes back to Viliami, kick out. It'll be a penalty though for the Bulldogs in front of the kicker and inside the 10 contesting the ball.
Yeah, Tuipulotu there with the crossfield kick with the fumble first. We all expected the big bombs to go up to Trbojevic, but that didn't happen. Early in the game, the first drop there from the Manly side at the back, and they're lucky enough to get a penalty.
So a reprieve there for the Sea Eagles. It's Tolu Kola, the speedster, who takes it across the halfway line to play it just into Bulldogs territory. Croker waiting, finds Olakuwatu, such a damaging runner and offloader on that right edge for Manly. Croker again comes wide back to the middle. Here's Aloiai. Much happening there. Three very conservative plays to begin this set. They keep it going to the left-hand side for Jake Trbojevic. Right around the waist there. Terrific tackle by Max King. It's a Trbojevic-type tackle itself. Now Paseka. It's been all the forwards to take it into the red zone. Last play here for Manly. Goes across to Cherry Evans, who'll chip one out wide for Tuipulotu. Up against Addo-Carr. Boy, he flew. Christian Tuipulotu knocked it backwards, but the Bulldogs are there to clean it up through Matt Burton.
There's no hiding where Manly are going to target the Bulldogs straight through the middle this afternoon. Cherry Evans and Cooper Johns just haven't touched the footy at all yet, other than Cherry Evans kicking on the last. All through the forwards, power running. Trying to take some fatigue out of the Dogs' middles. Good tackle here underneath Jake Trbojevic. Textbook tackle.
And now the ball comes free, helped out though by the Sea Eagles. Over to Keane there with Aloiai and also Croker.
It's amazing with that tackle technique there. Just gets up under the ball every time. You can see it. The opposition player getting landed on his back. You don't even have to look who it is.
Look at that. Brilliant from Jake Trbojevic.
The back of the penalty. It's the Dogs. 40 out from the Manly line. King. He's taken into the teeth there. Jake Trbojevic there to return serve after King's good tackle on him. Perham really can step and almost strides through a half gap that really wasn't there to begin with. He almost created some more. Set restart here as Burton comes out on this right-hand side for Faitala Mariner. Takes it down inside the red zone. 4 gone, no scorers yet here at 4 Pines Park from Flanagan. It goes to Burton, kick out, Perham, Alamotti gets a touch, the teenager, in game number 1 in his NRL career. They'll wrap him up in the corner of the field, but with tackles up their sleeves. So Kickoff takes one to the line, intending to burn a play just to get them set instead. And the second phase here, and King it is, who works it back towards the uprights. Flanagan shading this right-hand side. They go to Burton instead down the left. He takes them on himself. Cherry Evans was there over the top. Olakawatu underneath. They play it quickly enough for Marnie. Slide out a long way from dummy half. But Manu Brown is a dummy half, playing in the middle today as a running forward. Back from Marnie to Burton. Little goose step kick out, can't come up with it. It was just out in front of him and he wasn't ready for it. A simple turnover to let Manly off the hook.
Yeah, well, not the end they were looking for there that time. The Bulldogs straight away on the attack. I'll tell you what I did like it about it. Burton taken on the line, a big man, 6'4". Rather than just sitting back on his heel and putting those big bombs up, he needs to run the ball.
Manly roll up their sleeves. We go downstairs to Jake Duke.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. What a day to kick off our first Super Saturday of the year. Close to 20,000 in the house here at Four Pines Park. Still very much summer conditions today, about 27 degrees, not much breeze, not much cloud around, so it will be hot out there, and there are no drinks breaks throughout this game, so fatigue could be a big factor in the back end of halves in this game. And if you're looking for a little bit of an omen, Doggies fans, the Seagulls haven't lost a season opener at Brookvale since 2007 as they get a penalty out of trouble.
See what this next set offers here. It was super conservative in the previous set when they had a bit of field position off the back of a penalty. So it was all the forwards last time around. We'll see if Cherry Evans and Cooper Johns get a chance here in this next set. It's Paseka. Takes them forward to just outside the 30. From Croker goes to Johns. Here is Trbojevic running at Reed Marnie under pressure there. Got some good help though from Kickoff. Come back to the middle. Johns is there showing it. Cherry Evans out the back. Tom Trbojevic comes to Parker. They'll wrap him up. The pass though from Turbo to Parker has been ruled forward.
Yeah, just watching the crowd go straight on their feet as this wonderful fullback gets the ball in his hands out on an edge for the first time this afternoon. Nice and direct from Johns, nice and direct from Cherry Evans, and then, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I thought it was fine from Tom Trbojevic to Parker. Touchy right in line with it though, and a cheap turnover in the end.
Been back running with the team a lot in the pre-season. Really only got going in fair dinkum capacity a couple of weeks ago as far as team sessions were concerned. So he might be a little bit rusty, Tom Trbojevic, here this afternoon as far as that timing is concerned and those plays on the edges.
Looked really comfortable in his warm-up. We were down at ground level, nice and composed. His talk was great. He didn't look stressed or nervous at all.
There's Averillo running towards Parker. That'll be a good contest in this game. He's an up and in-your-face type defensively, Brad Parker. Chases out hard there as Carraz brings it back away from the western touchline. As Marnie goes flat for Brown, back on the inside for King. And closed the door there well through the middle of the field, Manly, through Paseka. And now it's Burton. We'll put it up. Again, just a mid-range effort. And O'Carr is out there. Kickout reached out. I don't know that he got a touch on it. It bounces beyond the dead ball line. And Grant Atkins says yes. It was all off Manly. It'll be a goal line dropout.
It's all about chasing through and competing for the football too, especially. There's only a little bit of a tap there from Burton there. Went as high as most other bombs go. They only get a touch on it, goes dead in goal. They get the line drop out. But you've got to turn this into points. They've had all the possession, all the field position to start the game. Got to score.
Everything going left at the moment for the Bulldogs. Burton and Kickoff, Alamotti, Adokar, that's where they feel their strike is. Nothing's come towards the right-hand side yet, really, for the Bulldogs.
Drop out from Cherry Evans. Played off the chest there by Flanagan. Ball back by King, and there was Parker. Just emphasising the point made a moment ago. Up there to meet the front rower. Flanagan. Is it back on the inside there for Ryan Sutton, who puts it down. The Englishman makes an error. Jake Trbojevic, no surprise, was there involved in the contact. And Manly to work it away from their 30.
Paseka cleaned up the footy there. You saw Trbojevic in the back play there. Tom just sprinting through. Had he been a little bit more aware, he could have got him the football there. He would have been wide upfield.
And Cherry Evans away to Olakau'atu. Burton with his hands full. Kick out, helping out. They're almost back at the halfway line, midway through this set. Slow play the ball there from Olakau'atu. Turbo takes a carry. Renowned for that at the back end of the set to get a legs tackle. Johns comes across here. Chance for Keona Tuilagi to play at 35 metres out. Former Tiger out on this left edge. Johns puts it in the air. Coming forward, Perham. Garrick didn't get a clean run to the ball. Both Avarillo and Carraz, back with the flight of the ball itself, able to help out Hayes Perham there legally. And now Carraz bounces away from the first contact to bring it beyond the 20.
Yeah, physically Manly starting to get on top here. Really good defensive set previously, and Jake Trbojevic again loosening some ribs. Max King it was this time.
Here's Ryan Sutton, working it to the middle, stopped by Olakau'atu. There has been some great contact to get this game going through the first 10 minutes. Burton from inside the 40, too much. The angle was too wide. He was thinking 40-20 from the moment the ball was played, but the error puts his team under pressure.
Well, I think they try and get a little bit too tricky here, the Bulldogs, to start the game. Kicking over to the right side to the wing there and trying to kick away from Trbojevic. That time, Tommy wasn't in position. The ball goes out on the full. They change their mind mid-kick. And here's the first time they've really had some field position, Manly, starting to get on top, as Mick had just said.
Cameron Ciraldo in his first full game as a head coach in the NRL, making some feverish notes in the Bulldogs coach's box, given what he's seen through the opening here this afternoon at Brookvale. Cherry Evans for Cooper Johns, good hands. Trbojevic stepping away from two, grabbed eventually there by King. He'll play it quickly though. Croker nabbed by Marnie at dummy half. It comes back to Paseka. He just saunters up to Viliami Kikau and almost concedes in the tackle. 2 plays remaining. Cherry Evans off the right foot, coming back to the middle, kicking for Jake Trbojevic. Marnie does well. Can he keep it in the field of play? In fact, he'll knock it on is the call.
Yeah, really nice work. Cherry Evans starting to make his mark on this game. Just watch the patience here of Jake Trbojevic as Marnie filters out the back, looking to clean up the grubber, and he just waits for him to get the ball and then rolls him. And Marnie, here confident that he hasn't lost the footy, and by the looks of that replay, I think they might win this.
Did look as though he was able to come up with possession fairly cleanly.
Watch the patience here of Jake.
At this point, Reid Marty's juggling the ball, so Jake Trbojevic is allowed to contest the tackle, playing on at this point. Reid's taking clean possession of the ball at this point. Still has possession. His hands remain on the ball at all stages at this point.
Good challenge.
His hands don't come off the ball, just need to make sure that he remains in the field of play.
That's great work by Reid Marnie. Win the challenge.
Tell you what, Ron, I don't reckon Manly will
Reid's in the field of play, and now the referee plays his whistle, which is a mutual infringement. We'll play the ball, tackle 0.
And it will be the Bulldogs who do retain possession off the work from Reid Marnie. Saves his team some massive pressure there. But here are Manly looking for a fortress Brookvale ambush. Underneath the Bob Fulton stand here at the renovated 4 Pines Park. It's all guns blazing at the moment. Marnie gives it off. Carraz under pressure. Are out to meet him. Parker is there again down this short side for Tyler Mariner. They've used up 5 plays rather out near the sideline. Pressure on Flanagan. Even the super boot says, Bill Kickow, you have a dip. My goodness!
That's ridiculous.
What was going on there?
That's ridiculous from the Bulldogs. Matt Burton has got the longest boot in the competition. They only made 23 metres. It was his chance to stand up and drive that downfield and just cop their medicine. Instead, passing the ball out to Viliami Kickow to get a kick away, and they turn it over 30 metres out from their own line. Have to be better, the Bulldogs halves.
Matt Burton given the co-captaincy alongside Reid Marnie in 2023. Wasn't the leadership role he took on then. Stunning that he didn't kick the ball, given he had space and time off the back of Flanagan's pass. So it's Aloye just outside the 10. Croker across to Cherry Evans. Here is Trbojevic. Runs towards Burton. Almost beaten there by the rangy fullback. They'll play for Olakau'atu. Cherry Evans comes here through the hands of Croker, then Johns, Garrick. And that blue and white jumper sliding to block his path. And eventually, running in behind Cooper Johns, he submits to a tackle. Last play for Manly. Numbers down the short side. Cherry Evans. It's a well-placed grubber. Perez with nowhere to go.
Yeah, what about that touch there? Didn't play in any of the trials. Cherry Evans just got time up the short side. Perfectly placed kick. And a good chase there from the Manly side.
He looks excellent, doesn't he, Cherry Evans? Down that narrow short side. Beautiful weight on the kick. And in these conditions, Jake Dukes touched on it, it's very hot here at Brookvale. Just retaining position. You go back to that end of set from the Bulldogs. It was just disastrous.
All the talk has been about the Bulldogs' left edge and what they can provide in attack. But given what we've seen so far, it would appear that the chances for Manly are coming on that left edge of the Bulldogs' defensive line. We'll see how they fare right here. If they can prize a gap maybe through Olakau'atu. Cherry Evans goes to Olakau'atu now, who runs towards Burton. Been troubled a couple of times, has Matt Burton defensively so far in this game, and dragged a long way there by the big back rower. From Kohler, it comes through Cherry Evans. Here is Croker, gives it to Aloye. Flanagan one-on-one, terrific tackle on the front rower. Inside the 10, Croker comes back to Cherry Evans, another grubber. Perham under pressure. Jake Trbojevic was thereabouts. I don't know that he won the race to it. Perham got there first.
Well, he's got the ball on a string at the moment, Cherry Evans. Looks in great touch. A little bit of indecisive work out of dummy half there from Croker. Cherry Evans just summed up the situation quickly. Got the ball into the in goal. And more defence. The Bulldogs' defence holding firm. That will please Serraldo. They've put themselves under pressure with decisions with the footy. But defensively, they've been very strong.
Long drop out from Matt Burton. Goes down to Garrick, who will bring it back here. Still no score through a quarter of an hour's play at Brookvale. Jake Trbojevic takes it inside the 30. Croker waits at dummy half. Cherry Evans on the right edge, barking instructions. Running for a chance here perhaps as Paseka lays the line for them. Right down the middle of the field, Croker. Johns was flat. Now comes to Trbojevic, 3-on-3. Parker almost through a hole. Bounced away from Avarillo. Carraz did well. Still 2 plays left in this set. Johns comes to Croker. Here is Paseka. Nothing doing there. And the last arrives here for Manly. Slow play the ball. Cherry Evans on that right edge again. Grubbering. Tom toes it forward. Turbo is back. Tom Trbojevic scores for Manly. They rise as one at Brookvale. He makes it 4 points to 0. It was almost like it was preordained.
Yeah, Cherry Evans' kicking game is destroying the Dogs over the last 10 minutes, and this time, well, it's just sheer class. From one of the genuine superstars of our game, returning today after a long layoff, it's Tom Trbojevic. On the last play, just pushing back through the middle on the kick. Burton can't get the ball into his grasp. He toes it ahead, sits up perfectly, and Tommy Turbo, well, he's got the fans on their feet, and Manly in front early.
Well, the great thing about Tommy Turbo is he's on both sides of the field. That time he's been bobbing up on the left-hand side. This time it's been the patience of Cherry Evans going at the line, beautifully placed grubber kicks, putting the pressure on, being really patient. But Tommy Turbo didn't bend down to pick that footy up that quickly. Just put it on the boot. That showed a lot of patience in itself. Gets the first try, expectation of this guy coming back, and he's delivered early.
You go back to that play where Reid Marnie somehow regathered the footy and stayed into the in goal. Manly then off the back of a break, freshened up, compressed their defensive line and physically went after the Dogs, who made 23 metres and were stuck inside their own 30. Matt Burton had to kick the football He opts to go the long pass to kick out, who then kicks out on the full. And after 3 sets at the back end of the third, just the sheer possession and the class of some of these Manly players, in particular Cherry Evans and Trbojevic, just too much to handle.
Couple of forced dropouts, a try off the back of it to Tom Trbojevic, and Ruben Garrick converts. Stays inside the left hand upright. 6-0 midway through this opening half, Jake.
How good is it to see Tommy Turbo back at Brookvale Oval? We see what a dynamic he adds to this Manly team. The fans love him. They went up as one then as he scores. He makes such a difference, in fact, that since 2019, Manly have won 70% of the games that Tom Trbojevic has featured in, and just over a third they have won when he is missing. So that shows you how important it is, why they invested so much money into sending him to the United States to get his body right, to be ready for this season, and he's paying dividends already.
Just on 11 weeks since he did that injury. Again, the hamstring. Parker, what a catch. Did he bobble it right at the end, though? And then Kyle Flanagan trying to bundle him into touch. Well, he was just laying there on the ground. And now a whistle of the Seagulls. But some easy meters coming up with the Bulldogs a bit too keen to jump off their own 10.
Well, just so far in the humidity out there, and just putting pressure on yourself like that straight after points have been scored from Manly. They're on the halfway line already.
And it's Tuolungi taking it forward here to play it just outside the Bulldogs 40. Croker for Aloye. And a spin away from the contact. Manu Brown was underneath. Marnie and King over the top. Goes through Tom Trbojevic. Cherry Evans on the Kuwatu, pouring through a hole, but he ran behind a teammate. Was it Tom Trbojevic had already gone through the line that he cut in behind, and well, he was going to give himself up. Either that or he'd done a hamstring. It was remarkable how quickly he pulled up.
There was a sniper in the crowd that got him then.
He knew that something didn't quite work out the way they intended on that right edge. What a break that is for the Bulldogs.
Gee, it's a good battle on the far side, isn't it? Olakau'atu and kick out too. Premier back rows in this competition. Look at the defence here. Again, it's Trbojevic and Croker.
Well, that's been the highlight for Manly early in this game so far, their defence.
Faitala Marin takes them inside the 20. Chance to respond to the try by Turbo Tom. Flanagan hands it off for Sutton. Hard, he picked off nicely there. Paseka around the legs. Johns over the top. Flanagan with a double pump. Burton showing it. Almost stepping through the Olakau'atu tackle. Marnie rubbers out a dummy half. Awkward bounce. Back to Reid Marnie. He tried to plant it down. He may have been just short.
He's a little tearaway, isn't he? Always in the game. Got the favoured bounce off the upright. Little grubber kick in and behind.
It might go backwards, but then
he's claiming the try.
Yeah, it's good recognition. You listen and wait for the bunker's decision.
Bulldogs kick chases are onside.
Flanagan looks certain to gain possession. There's a very hard bounce back over his shoulder. And play on to this point.
Reid Marnie takes possession of the ball here. Just need to see whether he gets it to the line.
Great contact from Tom Trbojevic. Desperation stuff.
He's had it knocked out of his hand on the way down there.
Yeah, was it Cooper Johns' hand?
Cooper Johns. Well done.
Remembering, he's got a slight tweak on
Just
the
checking all
ruling
available angles to see whether he gets to the line and still maintains possession.
in regards to put downs in 2023. The ball might have been moving in his hand. Does his hand completely come away from the ball? And does his hand keep the contact with the ball all
Reid
the
definitely
way
makes it to the line. We're just checking on possession now.
to the try line? Slight tweaking of the rule in 2023. Watch again. Has it still there?
Try. He's got the ball down.
And I
At this
think
point,
under the new
Reid has his hand
interpretation,
on the ball, which is down on the ground. We have a decision.
Yeah, such a competitor, Reid Marnie, and it was great awareness because Burton had run the footy and generated a bit of a quick play. The ball in near the try line as a dummy half. It gives you a chance to get out with any markers jumping on top of you. He skimmed across field, kicked off the inside of his boot. And as you said, blocked like a little terrier, just coming through. Gets the footy down, look, leaps over the top of the defender on the ground, Ola Kawatu. There it is, back into his hands. You take your luck. He gets the ball down, Dogs back in it. It's been all Manly the last 10 minutes, but a little bit of luck going their way. It's on the back of what was a relatively innocuous penalty from the Manly side when Ola Kawatu gave up possession. It looked too easy as he strolled through, and then
You take him any way you can get him.
yeah.
Might have been a 12-point turnaround. It looked like he was just freewheeling downfield with only Perham to stop him. Instead, gives away a penalty. And then the Bulldogs come down here. Nice ricochet off the uprights from Reid Marnie. All these massive upright pads have become a real target over the past 2 or 3 seasons, haven't they? So Nathan Cleary do it all the time for the Panthers. Reid Marnie there, no doubt aiming at the upright pads. Kyle Flanagan knew it was on, pushing up in support. Marnie off his own kick, able to score the Bulldogs' first try of 2023 from right in front. Burton makes no mistake. And what promised to be a raucous atmosphere here this afternoon hasn't disappointed. It's 6 apiece between the Sea Eagles and the Bulldogs.
It's quieting down a little bit at the moment, was with the Bulldogs try. The Manly fans a little bit quiet, but Reid Marnie always in the game, as Blocker said. He does more tackles than anyone last season. He saved a try at the other end here with his desperation on Jake Trbojevic, and then comes up and scores the try there. And that's why Cameron Ciraldo made him a leader in this team. He said Reid Marnie hadn't been in a leadership group before, but because he's always in the game, he's always competing, he would lead with his actions, and he does that there.
Certainly does. Look him on the board. Here is Ryan Sutton, who stopped in a solid tackle by Tuolangi and also Parker. And Faitala Mariner. That debilitating foot injury at the back end of 2021, costing him lots of game time early last season. Bone graft, and his career was very much in threat. Great to see him back playing good football again to begin this season. Brown will play it for Marnie just outside the 40. Here is Burton. This time he goes end over end. We haven't seen the Burton spiral as yet, the big torpedo that he can produce. Trbojevic is there to make the catch. A pretty simple one for him. And he plays it just outside the 20 as Stuapolotto. The hair flowing this afternoon. Shortage of scrunchies or hair bands or rubber bands, whatever they use on the northern beaches these days. Now Ethan Bullymore is out there. What an impact with his first carry. The former Bronco had a quiet 2022, not in just the 12 NRL games for the Sea Eagles, having made the move. Boy, he dispensed with Marnie there in no uncertain terms. Big contacts. Now Cherry Evans, who kicked down towards Adokar, in trouble here to make the catch. And had support back there with Alamotti, got himself back there as an option. Should Adokar want to try and play some expansive football from inside their own 20. Instead it's Perham here who'll take it forward and play it just outside the 30.
Yeah, both coaches starting to go to their benches. We've seen Bullimore into the action, and Rory Waddell's just come on for Ryan Sutton for the Bulldogs. Flanagan now just looking for an opportunity.
He might have got a penalty there. I'm sure he was playing for one. Here is Marnie. What a ball for Ravarillo. Looking back on the inside, he had Flanagan there. Just couldn't get it to him. Last play for the Bulldogs. Burton at first receiver. The kick across the field. Out towards Adokar. He taps it sideways. Grabbed there by Bullymore. Stolen by Burton. 6 more tackles for the Dogs. It wasn't the best kick you've ever seen. Nor a tap infield from Adokar. This man, it worked out okay for the Bulldogs. They're inside the 10. Marnie waits. They're set with options on this right-hand side. Comes through the hands of Waddell. Now Flanagan. Perham is there, stops and starts, trying to put some pressure on Cooper Johns. As Everillo jumps out of dummy half. There's the former Sea Eagle in Corey Waddell. Marnie again, going sideways this time. Brown trying to keep it alive. Play on for the moment. Knock on. Bulldogs instead, says the referee.
I think they're trying to get the Brown into that ball-playing role there for the Bulldogs. Just hasn't seemed to work, but they've scrapped for everything, haven't they, the Dogs? Only had 44% of the football. Shouldn't really be in this game, and it's 6-all.
Huge chance gone begging. It was tremendous work from Marnie. Out of dummy half, the little show, and then got the one-arm pass around the back to Avarillo. He just had to find Kyle Flanagan.
He ran away
through the middle. Yeah, ran away from him. Real chance missed there from the Dogs.
Nice work all the same, though, to create the chance. And going down the field, this right edge does look pretty sharp, doesn't it, for the Dogs here, and what we've seen so far. Avarillo, a real speedster.
He looks great, Reed Marnie, and he's starting to build some combinations, and good to see Avarillo coming off his right centre position and pushing through the middle.
Very more to play it here, 15 short of the halfway line. Croker for Cherry Evans. Kawatu, Kohler on his outside. Burton getting a one-on-one strip. He prized the ball free from Ola Kawatu, but in doing so, he's knocked it on. So it'll give the Sea Eagles another set of 6 here from their own 40.
He's got that great ability to bust through the first tackle, hasn't he? Ola Kawatu. There's the steal. You'll have a look at kick out just dropping off there for the Bulldogs.
What do you think, Block? I mean, the far side of the field today, we looked at Kikau and Ola Kawatu, and you naturally, both players are great, but you probably have that expectation with how dominant Kikau's been to get on top physically. I think it's been the opposite. I think Ola Kawatu's winning the physical battle at the moment.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they've had a lot more ball, and they've gone that side, the Manly side, a lot of times, but just got that unbelievable ability to beat the first tackler. Yeah. Just skips out of tackle, so I'd like to see him get some early ball at full ball.
Infringement there in the ruck, as you heard the station master tell you. 6 more plays coming up here for the Sea Eagles as Cherry Evans goes to Cooper Johns. Good hands at Okar, almost intercepts. Ola Kawatu ends up with it. The Fox would have moonwalked his way to the try line had he taken possession there.
He was moving.
Trbojevic comes back to the middle for Sean Kepi, working off the bench, but wearing 13 here today for Anthony Seibold. Cooper Johns will stop, and then Cherry Evans, Tom Trbojevic over the shoulder of Parker. It bounces past Garrick, and again, maybe just that timing first game back isn't quite there for the great fullback.
He just got that awareness note to catch and pass. As you said, timing might be a little bit off. Parker could have been a little bit deeper there. It was on, but just he'd be disappointed with that. Shake of the head there. Tommy, get back to fullback, and he'll shake that off, and he'll be back in it in a sec.
Yeah, nice moment for the Dogs here with Jacob Preston about to come on and make his debut.
It's the man who was a local junior here on the Northern Beaches. Gets a chance with the Bulldogs instead. Waddell for the moment, though, will play at 5 short of the halfway line. Manu Brown comes from the field. Here is King. Preston will take up a roll out on the right-hand side and a reshuffle for the Bulldogs. Tyler Mariner coming from the field also in what was a double switch for Cameron Ciraldo. Marnie for Flanagan, the kick. Avarillo was checked in running, going back. The kick is well weighted though. Trbojevic no choice but to fall on that one and force a goal line dropout. And there is Jacob Preston, Belrose Eagles Junior. Went to school right across the road here from Four Pines Park, Old Brookvale Oval. It's St Augustine's College. It gets no more local than that.
Yeah, no, great moment for the young man. And that was nice work also from Kyle Flanagan, recognising that Tom Trbojevic was caught in the defensive line. Good weight on the kick. And all of a sudden, independent doctor here.
I was very impressed with Preston in the trials too. Wholehearted player. He come across from North Sydney.
Jacob Carraz it is.
He's a bit mystified, a little like I saw with Kalen Ponga last night. On the advice of the independent doctor in the bunker. He's been ruled to have to leave the field for an HIA. Imagine he'll pass that, of course, 15 minutes, so we'll see him on the other side of half-time. For the moment, forces a reshuffle on this right edge.
Jaden Tanner also making his debut. Oh, great hands, Avarillo.
He didn't field it cleanly, but the knock was backwards towards his own line, importantly. It wasn't a knock on, more a knock back from Avarillo as he cleaned up that very difficult kick to grab. So Jaden Tanner is out there, front row in the middle of the field with the head tape around the ears as well. Blacktown Pat's student, former Australian schoolboy. Went to school with Stephen Crichton of the Panthers. What a combination that might have been as Flanagan shows it, gives it to Tanner, comes through the hands of Burton, kick out, runs at Cherry Evans. Boy, his eyes were like dinner plates there, DCE, as kick out ran towards him. He did well to stop Big Bill. Burton, they're flat back here through the middle. Comes to Corey Waddell, trying to step out of the tackle. He did so of Kepi, still going. There's Waddell. Taken to ground eventually there by Tuolungi. Now a flat pass on this right-hand side. So Tyler Mariner is back out there with a reshuffle on this right edge, and that'll be the changeover.
So you got to come away with something a little bit better than that. The back end of sets, just getting caught on the last tackle. Where are the halves taking control there? Manly were on their heels.
So with Perez coming from the field, Jacob Preston will play, we would have thought, a couple in from the touchline. Tyler Mariner back out there in his normal position on this right-hand side, and I won't see how they line up in attack. Preston might have to play in the centres. Perez is in the dressing rooms beyond the other side of half-time. Kepi, work it up here, 20 short of the halfway line for Croker to wait. Very flat here. Tom Trbojevic is there, taking 10 quick metres, grabbed by Waddell. And now the last, Cherry Evans just lofts one down Main Street. It's Perham floating across, who makes the catch, looks up, puts a step there on Cooper Johns. Boy, he is lively. Hayes Perham, former Warrior and Eel more recently. Didn't get much of a chance with Parramatta. But the starting role here as a fullback with the Bulldogs in 2023. Set restart for Canterbury. And it is Preston. We'll play it here for Flanagan. And they go to Burton. Now Tanner, met there by Croker. And also Olakuwatu. Strong tackle from that combination. Waddell. Maybe 3 or 4 metres only on that particular carry. Just wasted one there. And now Burton. Looking to that left-hand side, rubbers for Addo-Carr to put pressure on. He was right there. Kick out cleans up. It's been ruled to have been knocked on by the Fox.
You'd like a little bit more urgency there from Tuipulotu. All week they would have been doing the detail on the speed of Josh Addo-Carr, and in particular that combination of Burton kick, Addo-Carr chase. He's just in third gear there, and Josh went flying past him. Tom did well from the inside. He recognised there was danger. And they dodge a bullet there, the Manly side. Need to be a lot more aware than that, Christian Tuipulotu, of the speed of Addo-Carr.
It was just the bounce didn't favour him that time. Had it to come up into his hands, he would have scored for your life. What about the speed? Addo-Carr just shot out of a gun. Bang, away he goes.
Quite alarming for Anthony Seibold, the way, as you mentioned, Mick, that this man, Christian Tuipulotu, was just coasting back to take that rubbering ball, which set up awkwardly there for Josh Addo-Carr. Kepi brings it down the middle, stopped there by Reid Marty and company, including Max King. And now Croker working in behind King, who's still trying to make his way back into the defensive line. 4 plays gone, sun breaking out again on the northern beaches. What an afternoon it is. Early autumn and late in the penalty count. Good carry there by Ethan Bullymore, whose runs off the bench have been impressive since coming on midway through this opening half.
He's got leg speed, hasn't he? Bullymore, I was a little bit disappointed in his season last year. He played a lot on the edge. They've moved him in the middle now. You see, just right through the middle.
He's had to change his decision here. It's no longer the penalty. He said 6 more.
So they're beyond their own 40, which is the delineation point between penalties and 6 agains, and so no penalty. It will be 6 again. Cost them a few metres, but they still get the full set of 6. Kepi playing it for Croker. Now Johns, DCE floating to the left-hand side. Tom Trbojevic, 2-on-1. Garrick rubbering. Trbojevic back in field. It was still there, pinballing around.
I was going to push, mate.
And Grant Atkins,
He has a
But
push,
I'm
he
checking
said.
for a possible penalty try.
he wants to
I have
see.
no penalty try at the moment, but I feel that Tom Trbojevic is pushed out of the play unfairly.
If there is the chance here for a penalty try.
What about the skill of Reuben Garrick? Full pelt up the left-hand touchline, the kick in field.
Just need to
There's the
confirm
push
whether
there.
Tom Trbojevic is onside.
It's going to be hard to say it's a penalty try. You'll be 100% certain the ball would have went in his hands. I don't think it would have by the look of that. I'll get a penalty, but might be a sin binning for the Bulldogs.
I'm not so convinced as yet, Blocky. Watch this again. Flanagan just going backwards in the direction of
Based
the
on the
ball
live
there.
decision of onside we're playing on at this point.
It's
Just
hard-
looking at the hands of Kyle Flanagan
it's
here.
hardly a touch from Flanagan. It's
It looked like Tom had overrun the ball anyway.
Yes.
looks like they're
At this
Kyle's trying
point,
to get around him.
Kyle Flanagan has his hands in the back of Tom Trbojevic in a try-scoring situation and denies him a fair chance to contest the ball. Playing on at this point.
He wouldn't have scored.
Jeez, it's nothing more than laying a hand on him. But there's no push from Flanagan.
There's no penalty try, surely, but from the sounds of things, Kyle Flanagan
As
is
this
going to go to the
denied
sin
Tom a
bin.
fair chance at the ball. This is a professional foul. We have a decision.
Professional foul.
Nothing really in
That's
it.
ridiculous. That's a tough ball.
The thing is, he'd overrun the ball, Tom. So he's trying to catch, he's trying to get possession himself, Kyle Flanagan.
He sold it very well, Tom Trbojevic, no question about that. Kyle Flanagan goes to the sin bin for 10 minutes. We've got 5 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in this first half. Now there's some reshuffling for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you've just joined us, Jacob Carraz, he's off for a HIA. He's playing right wing. Now we've seen Kyle Flanagan sin bin. So that right edge that started the game for the Bulldogs is in complete disarray at the moment.
Tom Trbojevic to Cherry Evans. It comes away to Kepi. Polarising of opinions on the sin binning of Kyle Flanagan. Cherry Evans comes to Cooper Johns. Here is Tom Trbojevic taken down there by Preston. It's all hands too on this right-hand side for the Bulldogs. Johns sends Bullymore to the line. And punts his way through and
Need to
just
come left.
just about doing it as well, Mick. We'll see if they do go left. They find Tom Trbojevic out the back to Alangi for Garrick. They had to get them. They're all at sea, given the personnel missing on this right-hand side. Avarillo found himself out on the wing, and you saw it, Mick. They went that way. They score once again. Reuben Garrick, who loves scoring here at Brookvale, he has his first.
Inexperience from Hayes Perham there. Just didn't recognise the strength and the presence of Tom Trbojevic. He dragged defenders to the left-hand side, and the moment they did that, Tom overcalled the footy. Lovely wide pass from dummy half. Good skill from Tuolangi, who's been tremendous coming into this Manly side from the Tigers. And great skill getting Reuben Garrick. A wonderful finisher on the outside there of Avarillo. And on the stroke of half-time, Manly get themselves in front.
Well, gee, they got some strike on both sides of the field.
Yeah, I can't believe this. I cannot believe Kyle Flanagan is in the sin bin for what we saw on Tom Trbojevic. It was merely a touch. He laid his hand lightly on his back. Oh, outrageous decision.
It was almost as though Trbojevic was braking, realising the ball was going behind him, and Flanagan almost ran into the back of him, hit the brakes and put his hands in his back to brace himself from running over the top of Trbojevic. Either way, he's in the dressing room watching on. The Bulldogs, I'm sure, will be less than ecstatic about that decision. And they trail here by 4 with the kick to come from Ruben Garrick.
Well, Manly's
5 in from touch.
Manly's back row, Olakawatu on the right-hand side, and then Tuolangi on the left. That was just catch and pass. You can understand why the Manly side have signed this back rower from the Tigers. Calm, under pressure, catch and pass. As you said, Ruben Garrick with the try.
And the conversion attempt, he's a great striker of the ball. He bends it back to make it Manly 12, the Bulldogs 6, 3 minutes out from halftime in front of a sellout crowd here at Four Pines Park.
Wonder how Shane Flanagan's feeling in the box. He's riding his side that he's coaching and just seeing his son go to the sin bin. He'd be riding every moment. Old Flano.
Second time he's had to help prepare a side, playing against his son, Anthony Seibold there.
I wonder if he slipped. Oh, that's ridiculous when he got sin bin.
Would have been mixed emotions for Flano, who's trying to keep a lid on things there in the coach's box at the moment, while his son sits beneath him in the grandstand here at Brookvale. Out on the full. It was almost down the road to Warringah Mall.
Gee whiz. Well, okay, now all of a sudden, the Dogs that worked so hard after an onslaught from Manly early to get back into the game, through a Reid Marnie try, and now right under pressure. 2.5 minutes to go till half-time.
All the talk before the game, the Bulldogs, was about the super boot and how much he's added to the height of his kicks. We haven't seen one as yet, but boy, he's knocked a couple out on the full and made some errant decisions. But he's kicking so far here today as Croker goes to Cooper Johns. Here's Kepi. They came from the inside in a hurry. Strong tackle by Kickout. Important set of 6 here for the Bulldogs. Down a man with 2 minutes remaining in this half.
All the numbers to the left here for Manly.
Preston playing at right centre, Avarillo outside him, and here they come again. Oh, Tom put it down. It was building, you could see it like the surf rolling in at DY. We're going to crash in for another try.
Yeah, just the pass just too far out in front there for Tom Trbojevic. There was some space there again. The Bulldogs down a man with Flanagan in the sin bin, and yeah, just their timing, hasn't it? Just fractionally. Both of the boys, DCE and Tommy, not playing any trial footy together, and a couple of times they've really looked to pull the trigger, and it's just been a fraction off their timing.
Chula, get your feet on the line.
Massive let off there for Canterbury as they'll get the scrum feed here through Perham and work it away with Alamotti, a 19-year-old. 3 Bulldogs on debut here this afternoon. Here's another of them in Tanner. A little juggle, then he looked up and Kepi was sweating on him. Did well, Tanner, not to knock it on. They're outgunned at the moment, these Bulldogs, with Carraz off the field and Flanagan in the sin bin. Tyler Mariner comes in for a carry.
The big thing for the Bulldogs too, while they've got one in the sin bin, is completion. You've got to complete, you've got to get to your kick. You can't afford to turn over the ball as they have. The Manly's defence has been brutal through the middle in this first half. And that's the sort of play that you need. Walk to the scrum, take a little bit of time off the clock.
Burton taking no chances with that one. Just decides to drill it towards the sideline and turn over possession. And the Sea Eagles will have maybe a couple of plays here. Is there a trick shot? Daly Cherry Evans trick shot on this left-hand side. Parker takes a carry. Maybe the last play right here. Johns goes to dummy half. To Balotu will take it forward. Lifted into the air for a moment there by Preston underneath. They will get one more play. And it's Cherry Evans at the line. Numbers for Tom Trbojevic. Garrick down the sideline. Kicks. There's pressure here. The Fox is on the scene. He comes up with possession. He wants to launch a counter-attack of his own. Like an NFL kick returner, he puts the ball down. Fumble! Garrick! He kicks. Still alive. Bullymore kicks it forward. Cooper Johns! Johns is there!
I just want to see if Johns is onside with this kick from this play. After the Manly side had scooped the ball up, it'll be a brilliant try right on the stroke of half-time if that's the case.
There's a bit to check here. What a play. You could see they were going to build for something down this left edge once again. Anthony Seibold hoping and praying They get the green lights here. Try awarded on field. The bunker will check it though. Watch again. Turbo goes in behind Tuolungi. Good kick by Garrick. It had Marnie under pressure. Addo-Carr diffused it. I was almost expecting him to run over the dead ball line, but he had other ideas until this point. He was looking for an offload. Play on, said the referee importantly. Garrick with a kick. Bullymore a kick through. Johns was there. Right hand on the ball. Green lights.
Yeah, Josh Addo-Carr like his time back with this one. The last play of the first half. I was just having a look to see if Cooper John was onside. The kick through from Garrick. Then the kick again by Bullymore. And they're looking at the put down. There'll be no problem with this. Takes his time. Oh, hang on. The Bulldogs have got there first. Who was that cleaned up there? The big front rower.
Max King. Did King get a hand on it first? That'll need checking maybe once or twice more. To this point, though, in running, it all looked good. The toe forward there, and now the players are walking, having just seen the replay. Both teams were heading towards the sheds because what they saw convinced them that King won the race.
King.
Yeah, that's his hand underneath here.
Both of Cooper's hands here.
Yep.
And at this point, he's the first to ground of the ball with Cooper's hands on top of
Oh,
it. We have a decision.
What a save. The save of the century by Max King. Denies Cooper Johns in his first NRL game. No wonder there wasn't any great celebration from Cooper at half-time. It's Manly 12, the Bulldogs 6. It is quite a sight, Mick, as they head back out of the field. Jake Trbojevic, a sellout crowd here at Four Pines Park, or Old Brookie Oval, as we've known it for so many decades now. And this man, well, nobody exudes Manly-Warringah-ness more than Jake Trbojevic.
Yeah, he's been awesome. Physically through the middle as Block said, he's just been ripping and tearing, smashing blokes. He's been outstanding. So too Cherry Evans. He's looked crafty. I'll be fascinated to see the message that the coaches have delivered and to see what changes both sides make with their attack after watching them for 40 minutes.
Ruben Garrick gets us back underway. Second 40 here. First of 3 games live on Fox League. In his 27th year of Super Saturday. A pleasure to bring it to you. Warren Smith, Michael Lennis and Stephen Roach. Jake Duke on the sideline as well. Sun beams down. Northern Beaches. What a sight it is. Faitala Mariner takes it beyond the 30 here. Now Corey Waddell getting up towards Ola Kawatu. Manhandled him there and takes him back a couple of metres beyond contact. Kick out. Gets a chance to wind up. They get 3 though in the tackle, including Jake Trbojevic. And then Marnie down the short side. Boy, took a chance there and only just bounced inside the white stripe. And Manly will work it away with possession from just outside their own 20.
Yeah, just the thought process of the Canterbury side. I mean, you've got one of the great left foot kickers in the game, yet you finish 2 metres off the sideline on play 4. You gave Burton no opportunity to effectively get a kick away, and we see Reid Marnie, a right footer, have to come down a 1 metre corridor, kick off the outside of his boot. Strange start from Canterbury.
It's to ponder as far as their kicking game has been concerned. Bullymore! What an injection he's been for the Seagulls here this afternoon. Like a rocket off the bench, punching holes in the Bulldogs' defensive line. Kepi trying to follow him up. They'll take it inside the 30. 4 plays gone. Still time remaining before Flanagan makes it 13 on 13. Ola Kawatu tried to fend away there from Avarillo, who did well. Carraz passed his HIA, so he's back out there on the right wing. That's a bonus for Cameron Ciraldo, and Canterbury is the Army kick out, makes the catch, brings it back here, and they'll begin just outside their own 10. It is Carraz. The advice of the independent doctor in the bunker, taken from the field, Bullymore. He has been a bull at a gate.
He's got that leg speed through the middle of the ruck. He's also got a little bit of footwork, so it moved him into the middle, played him on an edge last season.
Kick out, he put Alamotti there under pressure. Cherry Evans towing it forward, play on, the Fox falls over. Cherry Evans dives in. A calamity for Canterbury and a celebration for Manly. Cherry Evans can't believe it. An absolute gift. An offload attempt by Kickoff. Alamotti no chance to come up with it. And the Fox fell at the final hurdle.
Well, the kicking game of Cherry Evans, that right boot has caused havoc, but this was never on. Put Alamotti, the young man, under huge pressure. Poor pass from Viliami Kickoff. They just cannot get any fluency with their left side attack, Canterbury. And on the back of it, some great awareness. Good defence here. Up in the face of Alamotti, jamming hard. And then just towed ahead. Addo Carr comes around Cherry Evans, the body check. Great use of his body. And a great pick-up at full speed. And Cherry Evans, the veteran halfback. Brilliant play and extends the lead after half-time. But Canterbury, in just their thought process around their attack to start this second half,
well, there it is.
Bewildering.
Well, there it is again from the Manly side. We mentioned their brutal defence in the first half. They forced the error there. But what about the skill of Cherry Evans?
Oh, yeah.
Couple of kicks on, shoulders Addo Carr while they're both going for the ball, and then to finish it off with the pickup. That is a wonderful skill to have. That was a great try to open the second half from Manly. You can put it down to their defence again.
Now Reuben Garrick from the 20, open up a big lead here. To make it 2 converted tries the difference. Was still Kyle Flanagan in the sin bin for the Bulldogs. Garrick strikes it well, bends it back over the black dots. It's 18 points to 6, down to you, Jake.
Manly coach Anthony Seibold will be really happy with his team's start to this second half. He wanted them to take advantage of this couple of minutes without Kyle Flanagan on the field. He was really happy with the way they stuck to their game plan in the first half. While Bulldogs coach Cameron Ciraldo, he will not be happy about that. He wanted his side to get back into the grind, but they've conceded there. He wanted them to clean up some of the silly errors that we saw in the first half, the kicks out on the full, a lot, wayward passes like we just saw then. So not a good start for the Bulldogs. The Seagulls go up 18 points to 6.
As Burton gets us back underway, it'll be an end-over-end kick that goes down to Tom Trbojevic. He hands it off to the man of the moment, Ethan Bullymore. Well, got the Seagulls in great field position to force that mistake, but they are mistakes of execution for the Bulldogs physically, but it's the mental decisions to make the plays or try to make the plays they've produced in this beginning to the second half and to put them under pressure, and the pressure only ramps up here.
Yeah, nothing going right here for Canterbury, and Kyle Flanagan is back onto the field. He's just run to the far side here of Brookvale Oval, and this is Kickoff and Reid Marnie involved in the tackle. Might have been worth a challenge, that, but nothing going right for Canterbury and Viliami Kickoff this afternoon.
Reid Marnie dragged them back to 6 apiece. It was that way all the way to the 35th minute. It unfolded for the Bulldogs from that point on, though. Flanagan going to the sin bin and scoring 2 tries since. They're back on the attack, the Seagulls. Here is Johns. And then through DCE to Trbojevic. Parker stopped there by Flanagan. Out there on that right-hand side. Parker forced to go back and play it on the mark. Through Croker. Comes to Bullymore again. Max King this time up very quickly to meet him. 2 plays remaining. Trbojevic, Campy, dragged down by Burton. Big tackle there, otherwise he was one-on-one with the fullback. Now Cherry Evans kicks it across field. A chance for Garrick. Going up though, Carraz comes down with it. Very big catch. They just couldn't afford to concede more points there.
Yeah, really good take there from Carraz. Just watching the Manly attack, and you know, I've said a couple of times that I would love to see Matt Burton just come off that left-hand side and link up with Kyle Flanagan, play both sides of the field. You saw on that previous set just that from Manly, where Cherry Evans sat himself on the right side of the ruck just to hold defenders, and then he swings late on the play the balls. We see another error from Canterbury. Olakawatu now steamrolling over the top of Kickoff.
Manly on the attack once again. Cooper Johns is a dummy half. Playing in just his 12th game in the NRL Tell you what I like about Cooper Johns, the way he goes to the line and just almost comes to a stop at times, or puts in a little stutter step, and it stops the defensive line dead, stops them from sliding and keeps space on the outside for the men he's about to pass it to. We'll watch it again, but he's done it very well so far, Cooper Johns, here this afternoon. They'll try to take the 2 here and make this a 14-point lead.
And that's what we're talking about, Warren, in terms of if Cooper Johns is sitting at first receiver, Cherry Evans will hold one side of the field and then he swings really late to get out the back of the play to link up with Johns. And you're right, it's the tempo of Cooper Johns that allows Cherry Evans to get from one side of the field into an attacking position so that they can hold Tom Trbojevic out on an edge to attack where he likes to. I'd love to see that from Canterbury. I'd love to see Matt Burton just evolve. He's such a great runner of the ball. Allow Flanagan just to stay as that first receiver and get Burton playing both sides so he's a threat.
I'm so surprised at Manly having a shot at goal. They had the Bulldogs on the rack there. Kick for touch, you're 20 metres, 10, 15 metres out. Go straight on the attack. But anyway, you'll throw this one over, I'd say.
And about 33 metres out. Strike.
Missed it.
Way to the right-hand side, allowed to go dead there by Hayes Perham. And so they'll bring it back out for a 20-metre dropout as Anthony Seibold watches on in a comfortable position at the moment. Now here's Burton. Drive as far as he can. A lot of breeze here this afternoon.
No, very, very hot ground level, Warren. Down there at half-time, it was extremely warm. The cloud cover cleared a fraction in that first half, and it's going to be hot for the big boys through the middle through this second half. A lot of fatigue will kick into the game, and at the moment, big blocks of possession with the Seagulls.
Here's Trbojevic again. Tom it is at first receiver. Cherry Evans saw half a space there. Burton came up in front of the line, and he was just about through it, Cherry Evans. And they play it midway through this set. Just outside the 30, slow one there for Croker. Olakuwatu was flat there with DCE out of dummy half. Around near the sideline though, with a couple of plays left. Kohler hasn't had a real chance today to show what he can do with his speed. Croker for Tom Trbojevic, talking of speed, takes it to the line there where he's stopped by Preston. Back to Cherry Evans to kick on the last. Contest here to Pilotu with the hairband in this second half. He lost it forward. It looked like Kohler is going to plant it down. The referee, I'm sure, is just making a bird of this to make sure that it wasn't knocked backwards by the Bulldogs, but it did look like a knock-on from Christian Tuipulotu.
Definitely knocked on, I think, by the right hand of Tuipulotu.
Cleared Manly's kick chasers onside. It's a clean run to the ball.
They're just trying to knock the ball. He had the first grab in it, just trying to knock it back in field here. Watch the arm come out.
Watching it live, like a knock-on by Tuipulotu when it comes off the inside of his forearm and then
it's the right arm of Christian Tuipulotu and goes forward, which is a knock-on. We have a decision.
That side-on angle gave you a much better look at it. And so the Bulldogs will get possession here to work it away from deep inside their own territory. Let's go downstairs to Jake Duke.
It's only round one, but it's never too early to start talking about State of Origin. The emotional rollercoaster of Australia's greatest rivalry is back for 2023. Tickets are on sale now for the Blockbusters series, so secure your seats at nrl.com/tickets. Matt Burton will likely be there for the Blues. But if you want big-time sport, don't forget the greatest fighter in UFC history, John Jones, is back for the first time in 3 years. He's fighting for the undisputed heavyweight title of the world. You can order that from mainevent.com.au for tomorrow, guys.
A lot coming up in 2023, including a big UFC 285 extravaganza tomorrow. Faitala Mariner playing it here. Marty out of dummy half. Perham looking up towards the halfway line. The lightweight fullback taking some stopping there. Nice carry, dragging Croker with him. Marty comes to Burton, yet to produce the torpedo. Out towards the sideline to a Pilotu here. Addo-Carr happy to let him make the catch. Thinking about dragging him into touch, surely was he. the Fox. That would have been an obvious penalty had he done so. It's Manly to work it away from inside their own 20. No torps as yet from Matt Burton. A surprise?
Yeah, definitely had some time there to launch one, didn't he? He recognises that it's probably not the time for another mistake from Canterbury after what's been a sloppy start to the second half. So just the conventional end over end bomb that time. Still plenty of height on it though.
And that's Kepi. Making it to within 10 of the halfway line. Last play here. They won't get to it because it was lost by Sean Kepi. Rare mistake by Manly, whose completion rate 24 of 28 before that mistake there.
Well, the good thing now is the Bulldogs are in the half of Manly, but they've got to throw something a little bit more at them. Fatigue is starting to set in. A lot of one-out running right next to the ruck, making it easy for the Manly defenders in the middle. Let's throw a couple of trick plays at them.
Well, it just looks like they're just trying to set up every set to open up their left-hand side. There's been, you know, no interest whatsoever really to go right. I haven't seen any attacking shape go right at all.
Chance here to produce something, the Bulldogs, as Corey Waddell will play it. Midfield, 30 metres out. Marnie for Preston, charging hard. They love him at the Bulldogs. They say he's a future leader of the club. Massive raps. Flanagan for kick out. Towards Alakawatu. They drive him towards the touchline. He'll get to ground eventually there in the nick of time before he was taken across the chalk. Alamotti from dummy half.
Kick out.
He is gassed. Absolutely gassed, Big Bill. Ryan Sutton. He's got some petrol in the tank. He'll play it here for Marnie. They come back to the left-hand side. Marnie grubbers again, perhaps their best option, given what he showed in the first half, producing their only try of the game. This one, though, well nabbed by Olakawatu before it reached the in-goal area.
Well, the other thing with those little grubber kicks from dummy half, everyone's got to be on board. Marnie was kicking for himself in that first half when they got the try. And that time again, no real hard chases there from the Dogs.
Stays a 12-point lead. They took the option, trying to make it a 14-point margin. Well, missed to the right-hand side from just outside the 30. As Parker plays it here, across the field goes Olakawatu to that left edge. Good contact, though. Preston was there to stop his progress. And now Cherry Evans from inside the 40. Light nor'easter blowing over his shoulder as he looks towards the southern end. The Lions Menzies stand end of Four Pines Park. Perrin brings it back and earns his team a penalty.
Well, that helps, doesn't it? Getting into the Manly half now. The kick downfield. Let's see if he goes for any distance. It's a fine kick there. Here we go.
They begin from the 30. Get the impression they need something here. Spark it, Franklin Pele. He's the man who can provide it. Known for his charges with the ball. Good one right there. Flanagan for Burton. 6 again set as well as they hold Pele down there in the tackle. Marnie waits. Burton's there at first receiver. Wide ball there at the back for Brown. Now Flanagan. Miscommunication through the middle there for the Bulldogs. Good off. Keep it alive though. Here's Brown, digs for the line and just about gets there. Trbojevic underneath him, stopping him from scoring as Burden goes to Preston. What a tackle. Driving in. There's a chance here. Trbojevic. Well, they almost stopped Manly. Was it Kohler who came in and absolutely levelled Preston? Here he is, Tolu Kohler with the ball in his hands.
Gee, looked like Tommy didn't exactly want to stride out there, did it?
Yeah, I was waiting for him to take off there.
Great tackle underneath from Kohler.
And it was like somebody pressed pause here as Olakawatu linked up with Trbojevic, and you're right. It was almost like he heard a whistle and was stopping on the play. Instead, perhaps, didn't want to just really stride out there on a long-range effort.
Addo-Carr was coming quickly, but normally Tom, just backs his physicality and speed, and that time just pulled himself up on the run. Maybe still not feeling completely 100%.
Did some sort of effort from Bullymore too off the bench. Run over 107 metres. Putting his hand up for a starting spot.
Good carry there from Tom Trbojevic. The kick goes down to Addo-Carr. Kohler flying through to make a real contest of it, but the Fox is there to defuse it for the Bulldogs, to work it away through Alamotti. Well, what have they got? With 24 minutes remaining, trailing by 12 points. A warm March afternoon in round 1 of this new season. And they're up against it to Franklin Pele again, just dispensing with defenders. Another good carry, not such a great play the ball though.
Attention to detail there. He's had an impact. Hope he doesn't drop his head now. Pele try to get up and play the ball quickly, loses possession.
I'll be interested to see, right was with just over 23 minutes remaining, just how Anthony Seibold looks to young K.O. Weeks. Great speed and evasive skills through the middle. Fine young player. I think at this point of the game he could be highly valuable. He's tremendous times through the trial period. So sharp with his footwork around the ruck, he could be a real threat.
He's got the ball in hand on the sideline. It's almost like the bowler down at fine leg, rolling the arm over, trying to convince the skipper that he's good for a couple of overs if you need him.
Big Merv on the boundary.
Just stretching in front of Bay 13. The chant goes up like it's Bay 13 as well here in the Jane Tri-Stand. Long left-hand side, set for the Sea Eagles. Croker, Trbojevic, cut down right around the waist was Ryan Sutton. Well, head fake from Croker, Cherry Evans, flat for Olakuatu. He's so hard to stop from that range. Burton did well with Alamotti. Cherry Evans, saw they weren't onside, and then the ball is stolen, so it will be a full-blown penalty now. They're offside here down the short side, the Bulldogs.
Yeah, too smart, Cherry Evans. Just recognised that Olakuatu had won the play. The ball marker's not set. Manly another set now.
It's happen and go. Kepi it is. Deep left-hand side, waiting for a chance again. Croker, another head fake. Cherry Evans. Olakuatu is one-on-one. They can't stop him. Yes, they can.
Wow.
It looked like when Atkins was going to point to the spot, instead he said just short. Cherry Evans, Croker, goes through the hands of Johns. Tuolungi, he juggles it and puts it down. The Bulldogs survive. Carraz has it. He'll offload as well. Here's Flanagan. Nobody pushing up in support. They are low on petrol tickets at the moment, these Bulldogs.
Yeah, great tackle, wasn't it? Hayes Perham caught on his try line. A great play from the inside.
There's Addo-Carr, a chance to come back against some tired right edge defenders for the Sea Eagles. They can find a second wind here, the Bulldogs. They're not out of this by any stretch.
Yeah, the desperation and the stop from Perham and Burton on Olakuatu. Outstanding.
Now Marnie. His own side of halfway, but outside the 40, kicks down in behind Garrick. He'll go back and put it up. Marnie on the chase. Well, he's got something left. What an effort that was on the kick chase. And then Tom Trbojevic gave it to Parker, who was falling over as the ball came to him, and his heart was in his mouth.
Well, when they look back and review this game, there'll be plenty of things the Dogs need to fix, but the one thing that has been inspiring today has been the effort of Reid Marnie. Defensively, he's worked his absolute backside off. That's his 37th tackle of the afternoon in these conditions, but he's been their strike out of dummy half, and gee, that kick can be handy for them too as the season unfolds.
An 80-minute player for Brad Arthur and the Parramatta Eels. He'll play 80 again today. Paseka, Trbojevic, Cherry Evans. Burton can't get to him. Cherry Evans has a double. It's party time at Brookvale, and 22-6.
Now, haven't they got some forwards in their pack that can skittle you? They've been outstanding here this afternoon. This time, Paseka, I've been a big fan of this bloke. Once he realised how big and strong he is, look at this for a run. Straight through the meat. Bounces out. Trbojevic there in support. He just stays alive. Burton can't foot it with him. Daly Cherry Evans, wow, puts it down under the post, kicks the ball into the crowd. But Paseka,
yeah.
What about the power?
Don't underestimate the work that Croker did from dummy half, and just his ruck recognition, realised that Paseka's just come onto the field, fresh, big body, hard to handle. Found Manu Brown, isolated him here. Watch this. Just bang, hard on his inside shoulder, gets him out of the road. And it's one of Manly's greatest strengths. When they get going, that triangle, when they get pushed through the middle of the field. You know, and Cherry Evans and Tom Trbojevic do it better than any. You could see John starting to push through. All their key indicators of support through their spine, pushing through the middle. Cherry Evans and Tom Trbojevic do the business and extend the lead.
It's a special play from Tommy too. Just the alertness to be there in that position when they make that break straight through the middle. After all the other roving stuff he does at the back, he's there right on the second they make the break.
His ability to be able to push through the middle and then also find himself out on the edges at the right time is quite incredible for just how big he is. When you get down to ground level and you look at the size of him,
Monster.
The way he gets around the ground is actually, physically, I don't know how he does it.
Derek from right in front. He blows his game wide open at 24 points to 6, Jake.
A real captain's knock from Daly Cherry Evans. Game 284 for the skipper today. He gets a double. Will pass 300 at some point this season, injury permitting. He's so important to this Manly side. And just talking about great sport coming up, guys, the inaugural season of the Supercars Gen 3 era is here. Every practice, qualifying and race live and ad break free only on Fox Sports. The Mustangs versus the Camaros, Friday live from 10 a.m.
The Mustangs versus the Camaros here. The Camaros, though, are low on petrol and looking for pit lane.
Oh, good shot, Pele on Paseka. Two big bodies colliding.
Alloye following suit. They've got the wind at their backs. They've got the numbers on the scoreboard, and they're charging hard, aren't they, these Seagulls? With the foot on the throat, trying to really add the scoreboard total in the remaining 17 minutes here. Cherry Evans, a chance. Back on the inside. Here's Kohler. Trbojevic was there, set upon straight away. They got to him, trailing back. Tackle made only just by Alamotti. And it's razzle-dazzle time, and here's Cherry Evans looking for a hat-trick. One-on-one. He pushed Marnie there in the back. Marnie, though, stays on his feet till he dives on the ball. And they hang on the Bulldogs, but, well, anything is possible here at the moment with Manly in this kind of mood.
That was more of a push than Flanagan's.
It was.
He spent time in the bin. Yeah, this could get ugly if the Dogs just start to tire and clock off a little here. Look, no one wants the footy, no one wants to run. They are out on their feet, and Manly are hunting for more points.
And who do you reckon cleaned up the ball at the back there? Marnie. How did he get back there?
Yeah, he's been brilliant.
You'd like to put a tracker on him during the match, wouldn't you?
He gets through some Ks. Got the intel to tell you exactly how far he runs and his workload during the game. Good luck in prying open the secrets from the NRL clubs in working out exactly what those trackers will tell you, though. Here's the Seagulls, almost back at the halfway line to begin this set. Burton with his first spiral of the day, but it was a low scudding one as Tom Trbojevic gets a breather. Kale Wicks hits the field for the Seagulls. He's a fullback. He's been spending time in the dummy half role as well, but with Turbo getting the early mark, he'll take over in the fullback role, and he is a real speedster. Now, what was building on this right-hand side? They put it down, the Seagulls, and the Bulldogs will hang on to it. They came here light on for troops with the injury during the week, and it will be surgery, of course, for Luke Thompson. Has been surgery, so he'll be out of action. I'll see him the back end of the season, Canterbury, as Flanagan heads out here through Perham, now Avarillo. The movement there, and they look good in that shape for that right edge. They're missing Luke Thompson. They're missing Tavita Pangai Jr., Chris Patolo as well, so they'll get some bodies back at some stage through both Patolo and also Pangai Jr. in the weeks ahead. But Luke Thompson, using him maybe 2/3 of the season now with that foot/ankle injury. And is a real blow. So I guess the only way is up for the Bulldogs, especially given where they've been in recent seasons.
They've looked good with a couple of touches of some early ball, Avarillo and Carraz too. Really good athletes that can move and step. Just haven't seen any footy today at all.
Now Marnie out of dummy half on the last rubbers. With the hands there of Weeks, it went backwards initially. Now the referee says knock on. It might have been the effort there by Cooper Johns in cleaning up for Kyo Weeks. And the Bulldogs will have it here 10 metres out. Touch there, might have been backwards. That little grab there from Cooper Johns forced the ball towards his opponent's goal line. Well, they'll be happy that he's back, got through an hour plus of work, scored the first try of the game. I think he's ticked a lot of boxes here today as Turbo Tom Trbojevic.
He's going to get better and better, no doubt about that. I saw the shake of the head as he come off. What a competitor. He'd want to stay out there. But round one, plenty of rounds to go here in the competition, so they're saving him. Put him in the garage.
That was charging hard there, though. Good tackle on him as the Dogs take it back to the uprights. Marnie at dummy half. Goes flat. Manu Brown, it's an awkward tackle. Lachlan Croker underneath here. He was pushing out hard from marker, and then when Brown came back on the inside off that left foot, in a very awkward position.
Yeah, and you mentioned you mentioned the competitor in Tom. They've sent Kyo Weeks out to play fullback for Tom, but you're right, Warren. He spent some time at dummy half, and now at the moment that Croker's gone down with his head knock, Tom's come straight to the sideline. He wants more action.
He thinks he's going to go back out there and that Weeks is going to go to dummy half. We'll wait and see whether Anthony Seibold agrees. Word on the bench, though, it might have been for Tom just to cool his jets.
Yeah, that might be Tommy just getting up and just saying, Coach, I can go back on. I'm ready to go.
Well, they've only got Kepi, Bullimore and Talangi on the bench at the moment, but Talangi and Olakawatu both wearing their hair back. Difficult to tell, isn't it, Warren, at times?
Could be easy to confuse them, Michael. Both edge forwards, both with the hair out the back. Here is Tom Trbojevic with the interchange card in hand. He'll come back and he'll finish out the game. He'll go to fullback, and Weeks will go, you'd imagine, with a dummy half roll for Lachlan Croker.
He's a tremendous player, Croker. He makes a difference to the Manly side.
Manasi Fainu was going to be the long-term hooker here. His issues forced Croker into that role on a full-time basis, and he's grabbed it with both hands over the past 2+ seasons now. Has been outstanding for them. Adokar for Burton, end over end once again. Parker looking up. Nobody wanted to make a contest of it, so Preston flew. Trbojevic looked at Parker, looked at Cooper Johns. They all looked at each other. In the end, it was Preston who almost came up with a try on debut.
Yeah, a little bit of kick and hope here for the Bulldogs here this afternoon. Only the one try. It was off a Reid Marnie ricochet off the post in the first half, so maybe disappointed. Haven't really been able to build to any sort of pressure against this Manly side.
Yeah, I think he's set for a big year too, Ben Trbojevic, when he gets some opportunity. Two wonderful back rowers in front of him. We've mentioned the quality of Talangi and also Olakawatu on the edges, but boy, when he gets his chance, he looks a lot more physical this year. He's put on a couple of kilos over the summer. Had a great trial period. Gets an opportunity at the back end of the game. Here's Aloye now, up to the 40-metre line.
Manly have one more. 12 remaining. So full time here. We're headed to the northern climes as Perham slips over here on the try line. Might have got him. Maybe a sniper there in the Lions Menzies stand brought him down. Either way, he comes up with possession. They will work it away to Paul Alamotti. Yeah, up next up there in Townsville, Blocky, sorry, just the Cowboys, of course, taking on the Raiders. That one is next. It'll be a warm one up there for the Canberra boys.
Yeah, they've done pretty well kicking to the corners, haven't they, in the second half. They've just really made it that difficult for the Bulldogs.
He's been brilliant, block Cherry Evans. Hasn't played a trial. He is taking the game by the scruff of the neck and being outstanding.
Josh, get off the shoulder. I can look for me.
And King to play it here. And Sutton goes to Flanagan. He was Preston. Avarillo missed the gun there. He was behind Preston. And the edge forward had to hang on to it. Took the tackle at the halfway line. Flanagan, he kicks a nice spiral here. Awkward one for Tui Pilotu. He makes the catch though. And we bring it back out to Manly's 30. Looking ahead to next week. The Seagulls have the bye. Then they take on the Eels in round 3 of Thursday night affair. So something of a 10-day, a short turnaround considering you have the bye in round 2. For that Thursday night game against Parramatta. That'll be big. Manly and Para.
What a shot there from Reid Marnie. What, only 10 minutes to go. Just gets underneath the ball. Driving tackle. Look at this for technique. Just rocks onto that right foot, gets the power out of the glutes and just drives him. Launches his right shoulder right into the tummy of Garrick. That took some wind right out of him. Just technically, the way that he transferred his weight there on the footwork from Garrick Marnie. Technically outstanding from Reid.
Hookers in headgear gets you a little excited, Michael.
Warren. Super Saturday, baby. This gets me excited too.
Trbojevic through a gap, taken down there by Manu Brown, saves a try. Cooper Johns, he finds Cherry Evans. Marnie, what energy he has. He came up to force them back on the inside, then Weeks puts a kick in. He put pressure on Perham. Everything clicking here for the Seagulls this afternoon.
Yeah, I love it. They just create opportunities, don't they, this Manly side? I think the scoreboard really flatters the Bulldogs. I think it could have been a lot more. Created opportunities. They'll get better as the season goes on, this Manly side.
Stay back here.
Burton will go short. No surprise there. Out wide, Carraz, the leaper, didn't get to the contest and was brought down very handily by Reuben Garrick, who might have hurt himself in the process, or maybe he's got a little bit of cramp. They take it forward. They play it here through Ben Trbojevic. Here's Cooper Johns taking it to the line. Only a couple of metres out. It's Parker. Shoves it all the way back to Weeks. And Jake Trbojevic. With Weeks waiting at dummy half. Cherry Evans floating out the back on this right-hand side. They go to the first man option, which was Aloye. The Seagulls have one more in this set. It's Cherry Evans thinking about the one-pointer, a bit of field goal practice. Why not get some in? And just to make sure all the skills are fine-tuned for a big moment to come, perhaps in the weeks ahead. 25-6 it is. 8.5 remaining in this first of 3 games on Super Saturday.
He's had a great day, Cherry Evans. His kicking game's been absolutely superb. He just got himself into the pocket. A bit of practice perhaps for later in the season, and his fatigue's really cranked into this game. Players struggling to get into shape. Edge back rowers starting to be tired, and he just took the chance just to kick a field goal. Oh, nice work, Paseka.
Traps the low grubbing kickoff from Matt Burton, brings it back out to the 20. And a penalty, this one to the Bulldogs for an incorrect play the ball. He wasn't facing square, Daniela Paseka, when he played the ball, and Grant Atkins on the spot to say that won't wash. Here he is, plants the ball down.
That's a fair call.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Hadn't risen to his feet either when he planted the ball on the ground. Could have been pinned for that also.
He is physically gone after Viliami kick out today. Ola Kawatu. Look at this. He loves it. Look at him slapping Alloy, eh?
Oh, now Billy Army lashed out at Josh Alloy. They come together. A warm afternoon, tempers fraying at the back end of the 80 minutes.
It's a bit late to start now, isn't it, for the Bulldogs? No?
Blocky's out of his seat.
So they've got things going well before this point, Blocky.
Well, you've got to fight when the fight's on, haven't you? Early. No good winning the 14th and 15th round.
Not when you've lost the first 13.
That's it.
They were the days, eh? The old 15-rounders. Here's King. Now, we haven't produced a knockout blow as such, but boy, they've won every round pretty much from the opening whistle here today. It's Sutton to play it. Marnie out of dummy half. Burton probing, looking for a gap, floating to Flanagan. Preston was there. Parker jamming in. He did well. Marnie. Rubbers once again. Parker under pressure. He was still there. The ball bouncing around, and Jacob Preston ends up with it. It wasn't forced by the Seagulls, and on debut, Jacob Preston might have scored for the Bulldogs.
We've got a no try on the basis that Jacob Preston is in front of the kicker.
He's competed hard, Preston, and again it's Marnie just... And they're starting to make things up, the Dogs. He looks for the short kick again. But it's Preston that's in front of him, and then he gets himself involved in the play. It'll be no try.
He's always within 10 metres of the play.
I don't understand the Dogs' attack. There was a period there where they had to play the ball in the middle of the field. They had Kyle Flanagan and Hayes Perrin parked out on their right-hand side along with Farmanu Brown, yet they still come to the left. Everything this afternoon has just been so heavily dominated to the left, and no doubt Cameron Serraldo's frustrated.
Well, there were expectations on the Bulldogs given clientele they've added to the roster in 2023, including that man, Cameron Serraldo, of course, who's been there as Ivan Cleary's right-hand man through back-to-back premierships at the Penrith Panthers, but it's always going to be a slow process. There's no magic wand to take them from 12th position where they were at the end of last year. 7 wins, 17 losses in 2022. Anything north of that, up around the 10 to 12 win range, would be steps in the right direction for the Bulldogs. And, well, if they were there with the last month of the season pushing for a top 8, that would be an absolute bonus.
They've conceded 25 points today, and if you've just turned on the TV, you're probably looking and going, well, it's just been all one-way traffic. Well, no, the Dogs were right in it until Kyle Flanagan was sin-binned before half-time. It was 6-all. Reid Marnie had scored a try, and they defended really big blocks on their try line very well. It's just been the class of Cherry Evans and Trbojevic that have pulled them apart at different times, and they didn't have a good start to the second half, did they?
Well, didn't have a great ending to the first half either, with the sin binning of Kyle Flanagan, and they scored either side of half-time. Manly at Paseka again. Another sloppy play-the-ball effort here. That's back-to-back ones for the front rower.
Still in a challenge?
What do you think you might challenge this one?
Okay. Been here lost.
Nope.
And thankfully, Daly Cherry Evans looks at the clock, says there's 4 minutes to go. The showers are ready for us, and it's 25 points to 6. Let's just move on with things, and I applaud that decision.
Yeah, he's dying to get home and watch the Cowboys and Raiders coming up
No
next.
doubt, live on Fox League, right here on Super Saturday, Mick.
What, no ice bath?
A quick one, and then he'll get home for the second half of that. Followed up by down in the Shire tonight. What a game that's going to be, the Sharks and Rabbitohs.
It will be an absolute beauty. And you raise a good point, Lockie, about the ice bars. I mean, in the old days here, with Desi in charge, would have had the cryogenic trailer out the back. They would back it up to the dressing room, and the boys would take their turns with the Ugg boots on and the warm mittens. I don't know what happens now under Anthony Seibold. It might be more regulation sort of treatments after the game compared to what Desi would bring to the table.
Shane Flanagan and Jim Dimmick just masseusing, just rubbing down the players.
There's a concept.
He's got gnarly hands, Flano, too.
Yes. I worked with Shane yesterday. I'll pass on the Flano massage. Here is Marty out of dummy half. Goes through Brown to Burton. It's a mixed afternoon for the co-captain today. Plays it to his other co-captain in Reid Marnie, as Kyle Flanagan tries to float one over the head of Tom Trbojevic. An awkward-looking catch, but he brings it back.
He's still not 100%, is he, Tom?
Not quite.
Yeah, you just noticed a couple of times, particularly in this second half, he just hasn't looked to stride out. That time he just ambled into collision. Oh, he's stretching up too. Let's just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's more a calf type of stretch right there that he was doing, as opposed to the old hamstring strain. I think
he's got the pickle juice there as well.
Speaking of modern methods.
Oh, Marnie, yes.
Coming up and kept really rattling him. The ball went back. In fact, it was Reuben Garrick. Shaved heads with Manly with their effort for Bear Cottage during the week. And a couple of curve balls this afternoon. Bounce goes down to Hayes Perham as he brings it back at the other end of the field. There's a quick drink of the pickle juice, I think you'll find. There's Marnie again going out and putting pressure on Garrick. And now the Bulls, who rejoin the action, lie down that right edge going into touch. I think all eyes, and certainly the grandstand, were watching Tom at the other end, just making sure he was okay. And there he is, barking at the referee and some teammates as well. Garrick now stretching out as well.
The challenging decision of played out by Reuben Garrick.
With a minute 42, I think they would have been better off taking DCE's advice and just letting that time run down. Here it is.
The ball is kicked by the Bulldogs.
Play on to that point.
Reuben Garrick is running to make a tackle and doesn't change his normal gait. Makes contact with the ball, not playing at it. Then it goes into touch off the Bulldogs. The challenge is successful.
The Manly side. And let's see what they've got up their sleeve. Cherry Evans has turned it on this afternoon. What's he got for us?
Bulldogs make one last change before full time. Max King comes from the field. Jaden Tanner on debut, along with Jacob Preston and Paul Alamotti this afternoon. So 3 players. The entry into the world of the NRL for Canterbury today. It'll be a losing effort though, as they trail 25-6 at the moment, as Manly got one more. A little bit of icing here at the back end of this game potentially. Oh, awkward looking tackle there. Swung to the ground by Kickoff. He's okay though. LEA taking defenders with him down to the edge of the 20. We've got 60 seconds remaining. Trbojevic at first receiver. Johns grubbering, chasing through his Parker, but Perham's there. Cleans it up nicely and then weaves his way in traffic to bring it back beyond the 20. I'm telling you about what the Seagulls had ahead of them. Their next game in round 3 will be the Parramatta Eels. Round 2 for the Bulldogs. They're in action next Saturday night. 7-day turnaround for them. They have to go down to Amy Park in Melbourne to take on the Storm. And beyond that, they had a clash at Belmore against the Tigers on a Sunday afternoon. With the Warriors, the Cowboys and the Rabbitohs. It's a tough opening for the Bulldogs in 2023. They've got 6 again here though. Pass forward out of dummy half. Cherry Evans takes an intercept. And it's a rare afternoon for the skipper. He bags 3. What a day it's been. His first hat-trick in the NRL comes in a big, big win for the Seagulls over the Bulldogs. The final play of the game. He is the player of the game. And they'll crack the 30 mark if Garrick can convert.
Yeah, it's been beyond a captain's knock. It's been a masterclass from the Manly number 7, and lucky to get away with the forward pass from the dummy half. And that time Burton just going to the line nonchalant through a pretty soft pass. And Cherry Evans sitting right in the line, swooped on it. He was all over it. He hadn't clocked off for the afternoon. And isn't he enjoying himself back at Brookvale, the Manly skipper. And he seals the win with a brilliant solo try. And it's all Manly. What a start to the season for the Seagulls.
34 years of age in game number 284. He notches up the first hat-trick of his career. He does it here at Brookvale. It's been quite the afternoon for the locals. A sellout. And, well, when you take on Parramatta in their next game right here in round 3, get your tickets quickly on the way out of Brookvale Oval, I would suggest, because Four Pines Park will be heaving again for that encounter.
What's he going to do when he warms up, Daly Cherry Evans? Hasn't played in the trials or anything.
He's been great today. Garrick with the final say, adds 2 more points, and at full time Manly have opened their campaign with a victory. After 80 minutes, Manly 31, the Bulldogs 6.